Hello everyone. Welcome to my live stream. Welcome to my channel. My name is Nazarah Merah. Thank you so much for being here. And today is day 6 of 99 days of irreversible self-realization. I'm just going to wait a few moments and see who's going to be joining in with us live. That's my cat Simba. He likes to hang out sometimes during the live streams. So good to see you, Callie. Hi, Annie Jean. Hi, Hans. Hi, Michael. Hi, Amanpreet. So good to see you all. Thank you guys for being here. So I know it's been a lot of energy from this 99 days that we've started already. We're bringing up so much energy. It's so amazing to see everything that comes up, the blissful states that come up and the very challenging, painful thoughts that come up. Like all these things are just kind of getting put into the field to show themselves to us. And we're learning how to focus our consciousness and really sort through all these different frequencies in a very powerful way. And I really love inspiring you guys to see everything as a frequency. Because this is really the key, you see, it really is. And it hasn't been shared this way on self-realization in the past. It hasn't. It hasn't been shared like this. And I really feel like there was a really big key that was missing here with self-realization for us to actually embody it and have a bigger context of understanding for what is going on and how to progress on our journey, you could say. And even this idea of a journey, it's like, okay, well, I want you to get a glimpse of how I perceive existence, okay? Because this could help you start to kind of create your own roadmap for your own realization. So everything that you're seeing here with the eyes, every single thing that you could ever experience in existence, every single thing. When we're talking about beingness energy, we're talking about isness. It's made out of frequencies. Every single thing is made out of frequencies. Every single thing. And so when we are on this path of self-realization, what we are trying to do is focus our consciousness through all of the waves of frequencies. There's so many frequencies here on this planet. There's so many frequencies in existence, but most especially on this planet. And that's why it's been so hard, like the truth of what we are has been so evaded from us, you could say. It's been so hard to kind of find and get to, is because there's so many frequencies here on this field, on this planet. There's so many. And every single thing, it's like these thoughts and ideas, feelings, sensations, every single thing that's created is a frequency. And so it's like we're swimming in a huge pool of all these frequencies. That's what we're doing. Our mind-body systems are swimming in a huge pool of frequencies. And the mind, how it perceives everything, is conceptual. So it's creating more frequencies based off of its beliefs, based off of its ideas that it has about what it thinks this world is and what it thinks life is and who it thinks you are and all of that stuff. But that's all part of the dream, you see. That's all part of the dream. That's a very deep dream of consciousness that we're in. So when you want to realize yourself, you have to get out of these concepts altogether. Because nothing means anything. None of these words mean anything. No, nothing means anything. Everything is a frequency. Every single thing. Okay, so we want to be feeling every single thing through the heart. Okay? And I'm pointing you to this because it's very important to start to see that any word that is said, it doesn't mean anything. It's just all about the frequency. We're always going towards the frequency that we actually want to embody. What is the frequency you want to embody? What is the feeling state you want to be embodied in? And it hasn't been spoken like this in self-realization before because in self-realization it's really about accepting what is and not having resistance. So not having resistance if there is an identification that your person, your mind-body system is holding on to a heavy frequency. And there's a belief that I can't let that go. So if that is arising in your experience, then you have to just accept it. That's the only way to get out of it. You have to totally accept it. That there's a frequency that your person, your mind-body system is identified with, and it wants to hold on to, and it doesn't believe that it can get out of it. And you're the one seeing that. So there's a deep surrender. It's a constant surrender to what is arising, because what happens on the path of self-realization is all of the heavy frequencies that are keeping you from your natural state of being, from the enlightenment, you could say, are going to come up. And when they come up, there's going to be these thoughts and beliefs that say, I can't not feel this way. This is how I feel. I can't get out of this. This is what it is. And those are just thoughts and beliefs too, you see. But since you believe them, you will have to feel them fully. You will. Not because they're true, not because they ever meant anything about anything, but because you created a dream. And in that dream, you felt that you were powerless. You had a dream that you were powerless. And so now you're trying to find your way out of that dream. You're swimming through all of these frequencies. We're basically swimming in a field of frequencies, trying to find our way to our core natural state, which is a state of bliss. So every time a new frequency arises, the mind will say, oh, I feel this way because, and it will talk about maybe something about self-realization. Maybe it'll talk about, it will say a lot of different ideas and beliefs. It will say so many things. The mind will say so many things about why you're feeling this way and what this means and what that's about and why you can't stop feeling this way and why you've always felt this way and why this happened in your childhood and that made you feel this way and all of those things. The mind will kind of try to create a story to actually really hold on to that energy. And you're not realizing that that's what's happening. So with self-realization, what we're trying to point you towards is a constant self-realization. A constant. So moment to moment, you are surrendering and dying into the moment and realizing that nothing else ever existed before or after this moment. Because that liberates you from any thought that came up in the last moment saying, I feel this way, I can't feel this way, I can't stop feeling this way. Or if you actually write something out and say, oh, this is how I'm feeling. Well, if you actually hold on to that, if you identify with that, then you will believe that that's the truth, and then you start to play more of that energy out. So we're basically dying every single moment into presence. We're dying into presence every single moment, whatever's arising. Most especially when, it's so easy to do when it's very blissful, because you just feel so blissful. So you can just hold presence, hold a deep feeling of presence so easily. And that's why I keep telling you to find the frequency of presence that you want to be in. Because you always are the presence, you see? You always are. And you are the source of all frequencies, of all feeling states. And you have the power to choose whatever frequency you want your mind-body system to feel. And when they feel good, then it's very easy for your person, your mind, to actually feel like it just wants to stay there. So presence becomes so blissful and easy for the mind. And when these heavy frequencies come up, which they are going to come up, because what's happening is you are embodying more of your natural state of being. You're embodying your true essence, which is so light. It's like your whole body is turning into white light, you see? That's where you're going. Your whole body, your whole mind-body system is going to be turning into white light. Until at some point, it's like you don't even have a body. It's just so light. Your body is so light. It's like you don't even have a body. That idea of the body will actually dissolve altogether at some point when you go really deep with your realizations and you're fully embodied as the self. So we're swimming through all of these frequencies. We're swimming. There's all these frequencies that are coming up, and we're swimming through them, and we don't want to get stuck on any of them. We don't. We don't want to get stuck on any of these heavy frequencies. None of them whatsoever. Not a single one. We don't want to get stuck on any of them. Because if you actually when you let all frequencies go, your purified frequency is bliss. And you will know this if you go very deep into meditation and you just keep getting subtler and subtler and subtler and subtler and subtler into awareness. Like letting go of any idea that you have about what you think this reality is altogether. When you go very, very deep, very, very, very deep in meditation, and you let go of every idea and every thought you've ever had, any belief about anything, then your whole body actually dissolves and turns into white light. Everything in existence turns into white light. Everything. That's the core purified state of what you are. So profoundly blissful. So we're moving closer to that in an embodied state, you see? And it hasn't been spoken on in self-realization in this way because they didn't want the mind to be like, oh, I need to build more resistance about not feeling that frequency. That's why it wasn't spoken on in this way. But what I am sharing with you, I'm sharing it with you now, is because I can see that there's kind of a stuck point that sometimes we get into where we think we know about self-realization. We think we know a lot about it. We think we've already realized ourselves, perhaps even. Yet we're not actually feeling our core frequency. We're not feeling a natural state of bliss. And the only reason that's happening is because you really aren't embodied in that. You aren't embodied in that purity of the truth of what you are. So yes, you may have the ideas of what you think it is, and you may know a lot about it, but you're in your actual physical body, even if you didn't have conscious thoughts, even if your mind was quiet and you're like, I'm just awareness, and you're staying and there's no conscious thoughts, your physical body is still holding these old heavy frequencies of trauma, you could say. And when I'm saying trauma, any and every stressful thought is a trauma for the physical body. So for you to really progress, you have to be embodied in your realizations, you see? So all these old heavy charges in your mind-body system will have to come up. And if you're not feeling them coming up, and you're feeling, oh, I'm just awareness, but you're not feeling blissful either, then there is some mental container that's there in your field that's identified with that you're not aware of. Because as you go deeper and deeper, your core frequency is profound bliss and profound, like you basically you become so light. You become the light. You become the light. You are the light. That's what you are. And so your whole mind body system just becomes the light too. And so it'll go a couple of different ways with this, me sharing this. It's going to either go empower you to say, oh, I want to feel the frequency that I want to be because I'm source energy and I can feel whatever frequency I want of presence that I want to embody. And that actually holding that frequency of bliss or lightness or ease, that actually heals your mind body system. It does. That actually just holding that frequency, because it's such a purified frequency of your natural state, if you just can stay in that, the more you stay in these high frequency states, your whole mind body system starts releasing everything that's not aligned to that. So you could have a flu-like symptom, you could have a detoxing thing, you could have heavy emotions come up, but it's not because you're doing something wrong, it's because it's purging everything that is stored in your mind body system that's keeping you from fully embodying your natural state of being and abiding in that. Or the other thing that could arise from you hearing this sharing is there's a feeling of disempowerment could come up, and it could say, well, I can't feel this blissful thing. Why can't I feel bliss? And I want you to notice something if that's what's happening to you, because that thought right there is keeping you from your freedom. And it's a very, very painful thought. And these thoughts, when they come up and are saying, I can't feel this way, they're so painful. They are, and that was part of the dream of being a person. Feeling so limited that you cannot feel that you are source energy and that you don't have to identify with those thoughts, and you can feel the way that you want to feel. You can feel your natural state of being again and any and every moment. So what's happening is you're going through some type of healing process where these old charges are arising and you're feeling them. You're feeling them coming up. They're coming up in your field, and you're trying to swim your way through them and not get stuck to any of them. We're trying to not get stuck on any of them. Because the thoughts are going to come up and be like, no, I can't feel this way. And oh, it's going to start saying some kind of story or some type of idea or projection. And if you believe that, then you actually just lock yourself into that experience more. Because your thoughts are so powerful. Your words are so powerful. They are. So I want you to see that. I really do. I want you to see this very clearly because it's very important. And you may not be aware of it. I've said in the past in my sharings that I don't believe anything that I say. And the reason I say that, and the reason that that is true, is because I don't hold on to anything that could ever arise from anything that I would say or share about anything. It's like it stops existing after it leaves my mouth. Like it never existed. It never existed. It never was. And so there's profound liberation in that. So anything that's coming up, you need to express whatever is coming up. You do. You need to express, because a lot of times it's not about you. What's happening is your mind-body system is really channeling this energy for the collective to be expressed. Whatever's coming up, it's channeling it. It's just like you're channeling the energy that is in our field of a collective right now that we're swimming through, and you are expressing it to represent that is what's coming up in our field. But it's not about you, you see? No matter what you say in the group, no matter what you share, it has nothing to do with you. You weren't in any of those thoughts. None of those things actually are true. That's just one perspective that happened in one single moment. And then it stops existing as soon as you stop believing it has anything to do with you. But we need to let things come through and be expressed and just let them out, because we're here to be clear, open channels for whatever is for the highest good of our community and our collective. So always express openly and honestly, always. And then let it go. It has nothing to do with you. Realize that. Realize that. It's so important. Because if your mind holds on to it and you're identified with it and you think, oh, I typed this out and I wrote this and this is my truth, this is what I am, then you're like locking all the potentials of energy in your field into continuing to perpetuate that experience to be your living truth, your living dream. That's what happens. That's how powerful you are. You're so powerful. You're not even realizing it. You are so infinitely powerful. You have no idea. Every word you say is like God speaking. You see? It is. It's so powerful. Your words are very powerful. That's why I keep telling you to make your declaration. Every new moment is a totally new universe. I want you to keep realizing this. I want you to keep realizing yourself in every single moment and realize that nothing that happened in the last moment has anything to do with you whatsoever. It doesn't. It's like it didn't exist. Unless you choose to believe it did. And that will just keep you stuck. It will keep you stuck. When what we're trying to do is we're trying to swim through all of these frequencies and not get hooked on any of them. We're trying to swim through them. We're like, we have a destination. Okay? And this destination, it's not like it's actually not in the now moment. It's already here. It's already the core of what you are. But there's just so many frequencies in the field. This is what we're experiencing in all of existence, you see. This is what it is. There's like when you see experiences when you're going in meditation, it's like you're trying to go deeper to the truth of what you are, but then there's just thoughts and feelings and you're because that's what's in the field. You're swimming through all of the frequencies on this planet, this collective, and you're trying to focus your consciousness so powerfully. This is why that masculine energy is powerful, to be very focused. You have to be very focused. You have to keep focusing on the core of what you are. You have to keep going there. In that direction, feeling the core of what you are, beneath all the thoughts, beneath all the ideas, beneath all the stories, beneath all the sensations, beneath all the emotions, beneath all the feelings. You always are that in every moment, you see. So it's not a destination, but it's just a practice. It's a practice because you've been so used to identifying with all the frequencies are floating around in the field, and you're just like, oh, this is what I am. Oh, this is what I am. Oh, this is what I am. This is what I am. This is what I am. Oh, this is what I am. Oh, this is what I am. That's what we've been doing here. Every single frequency that's arising, the mind grabs a hold of it and it just feels that frequency, and then it creates a story, an idea about it, and says, oh, this is about me. But it's not. It's just a field of frequencies on this planet. It's never been about you. The mind's just been talking and trying to create an identity and make it personal and pulling up all these old files and memories and images and trying to create stories out of it to lock you down into that dream. And you're so powerful when you believe it. That's what happens. Every single potential, every single particle of existence is a potential of energy, you see? Every single particle of existence is a potential of energy, and you're so powerful. Whatever you believe, it starts creating. Every single particle starts vibrating around whatever you say and believe. It starts forming to you. So we want to unlock these potentials. We want to unlock them all so we can actually bust out of these mental containers and just go very deep into our core state, our core self, our core frequency, and feel the lightness, the purity, the truth of what we are. that is so profoundly light and so profoundly blissful and just so expansive and just so open and so light without any ideas or thoughts at all. It's just pure potential of all energy. So we're learning how to access our power, to know that we can focus our consciousness in the way that we want. We don't have to believe these thoughts that are going to come up that are trying to be an imposter and pretend that it's talking about us and start creating a whole new dream, a whole new reality of this is what I'm going through, this is my experience, this is why it's so hard, I can't get out of this, I'm so stuck in this. So it's not about, yes, these things can arise, but you're realizing you're the awareness. If you realize that's not what I am, I'm the awareness of that, that has nothing to do with me, you all automatically start getting your power back because you're seeing it. You're seeing it in front of you. As soon as you see it, it starts shifting. It can't stay the same as soon as you see it. And so you can be creative with this, you can. One way I've been noticing, because I've been going deeper into the no mind state and abiding as that, one thing I've been noticing when thoughts do want to come up, or there is a frequency that does want to come up, then there's been this kind of playful energy of just seeing that doesn't exist. I pop it. There's like this feeling of it's being popped, that potential is popped open, and that didn't exist. So it feels very expansive. It doesn't feel like destroying energy so much of the traditional way of the absolute. It feels very creative and expansive and open. So you can experiment with this. If you're having thoughts that are coming up, you could be playful with it and see, oh, these are just potentials of energy. That thought, that frequency, that feeling, that emotion, I'm going to pop it open. I have the power to just pop that potential back open into pure white light. And realize that it's already pure. It's already so pure. It's already purity and white light. I made it so. I created that as white light. It's perfection. It doesn't exist in that old potential that it was in. You have the power to do that. And it's so fun and blissful when you feel your power. You're like, oh, I can keep unlocking all the potentials on this planet. I can keep doing that. But you have to realize your power, that you have the power to do this. You do. You do. There's just an old pattern with these thoughts coming up. This is all it was. It's just that stage of consciousness, of the person consciousness. It's just an old pattern of the thoughts are coming up. And then there's just the person feels so powerless, like, oh, that's just what I am. Oh, that's me. Oh, and the person just believes it automatically. That was just the person stage of consciousness that we were experimenting with. So now we're allowing ourselves to feel everything. We have to be open to feeling it. If it arises in your experience, you have to feel it. Because just saying, oh, it doesn't exist, doesn't work. You actually have to feel it. If it's in your body, if you've already believed it in some previous moment and that frequency is in your body, you have to fully feel it in the heart, right here, right now. That's the only way out of it. That's the only way. You have to go straight through it. You have to go straight through it. And when you're having painful emotions or sensations come up, if you don't identify with any thoughts, you will get through it very, very quickly. You will get through it very quickly. Just go straight into the physical body, where the energy is, wherever the emotion is, wherever the sensations are. Find them in the physical body and keep bringing the awareness of the mind back into the physical body again and again and again and again to feel it there, and keep surrendering into the moment again and again into the physical body. So you don't let the thoughts come up and you don't identify with the thoughts. Because the thoughts, their imagination, they're trying to create that reality, you see. Every single time you'd have a heavy frequency in your mind-body system, and a thought comes up and says, oh, this feels so bad. Why does this feel so bad? Oh my God, I don't want to feel like this. When is this going to be over? And you believe that, you are creating a whole new dream. You're creating that potential to keep continuing. You're creating that suffering. You're creating the experience to keep continuing longer and longer. That's what you're doing. And you're not realizing it, perhaps. But if you just, every moment, you just dropped your awareness into the heart, into the body, wherever it is, and you just went straight deeply into it, go straight deeply, die into it again and again. Die into it. Die into these sensations. Die into these emotions. Die into it. And it will feel, there will be emotions sometimes that will come up. Oftentimes they will. This stuff is very painful. These dreams that we were having, they were nightmares. We have to find our way out of them. But we can't just not feel them. You have to actually fully feel them. But you can make the healing process go very quickly if you just go straight into it and don't identify with it. It's not about you. It doesn't mean anything about you whatsoever. Those thoughts aren't true. That's just a dream. It's just a sensation of a frequency in the field of you. Just feel it fully right here, right now. Again and again and again and again and again and again. And you'll keep having to do it every single moment. You'll go into the sensation and a thought will try to come up and be like, oh, this feels so bad. And you just pop that potential open and go back into the sensation. And you keep doing that again and again and again. So you're not letting that energy keep getting perpetuated. Every single thought that comes up, it's offering you a whole timeline. That's what it's doing. And you're so powerful. As soon as you believe it, you start creating that reality to perpetuate and to continue on. And we're trying to get out of all these dreams altogether. So we're swimming through these frequencies and we're not getting stuck to them. We're just going to keep swimming through. They're going to keep coming up and we're going to swim through and we're going to keep focused on our declaration of our true desire. That's how you stay focused through all of the field of all this frequency. Your declaration, continuous declaration, keeps your consciousness focused and moving forward into your highest potential. Because your declaration starts changing the particles of existence around you too. So powerful. Your word is so powerful. You don't even know. Your word is so powerful. I realized this when I was in doing self-realization, when I was on the path of it. I would like send a text message, to my partner at the time, and I would say, oh, I'm going through this. And as soon as I would type it and send it, I started to notice that if I sent something, whatever it was literally like it started becoming stronger. It started becoming more heavy in my being. And I realized, oh, I'm actually believing that is the truth. And I'm holding on, like part of my mind wants to hold on to that story and create that of that's what I am. That's what's happening to me. I'm going through this. And instead of just going straight into it and just letting it go in moment to moment to moment. So I had to start untangling myself. Like every time I would say something or post something that wasn't what I wanted to create, I'd have to actually go and declare the opposite thing to what I actually wanted to create. I had to keep doing that because I realized I could see very clearly how powerful every single time I said something, if I identified with it on any level, then it started to create more of that energy. If I believed what I said on any level, it started to create that reality. So I don't want you to believe what you're saying. Don't believe it. Let it come out. Let it come out through you. You're channeling it. If it's coming out to it's excitement to share it because it needs to come out. You're the channel of that energy so we can see what's in this field and people can start to feel that this is okay to feel things. We're really still working out of the personhood perspective, which it's like, oh, it's not okay to feel anything. We have to stop doing that. We have to actually feel everything because this is a progression. You remember the chart where it's like you're the person mind stage and then the next stage is empathic. You actually have to feel everything. Yes, you have to feel it. And then the empowered mind is where we're going to realize that we're powerful enough to focus our consciousness on what we want and what we desire and on our realization. We are powerful enough to do that. There's just been thoughts that have been believed saying you're not powerful. That's it. That's all it ever was. There's just thoughts and beliefs. So that's what I do with you guys too. When I see you're going through heavy energies, I just like I'm imagining, oh, I'm just popping open all those potentials. So that's not what you are. No, that's not what you are. So you can do that yourself too. And see, oh, that's not what I am. That's okay. That wants the expression wants to come out. I'm just channeling that. That's okay. That expression needs to come out. But that's not what I am. That's not who I am. That has nothing to do with me. That's not. I'm liberated in every single moment. I'm totally liberated in every single moment. So basically what we're doing, you see, it's so simple what we're doing. We're just finding all of the thoughts and beliefs and stories and ideas and feelings and sensations that have been saying that we can't be abiding in our core frequency of our true state, our true natural state of being. We're just finding, they're all going to come up. They are going to come up as you stay as presence and you stay as awareness and you stay in the space more and more. They're going to come up. And they're going to sound and feel very true because you were in a dream about that. But we're swimming through them, we're not getting stuck on them. We're like, no, that's not what I am. No, that's not me. That's not what I am. And we keep declaring that we want absolute truth. We want absolute truth. We want our highest timeline, our highest potential. It's so powerful, these declarations. You may not believe it, but it is. You know, the day that I went through into the absolute, that day I remember I was so determined. I was so deeply determined. And I went for a run. I went for like a 3-mile run. And the whole time I was staying as awareness, but I was making a declaration the whole time. I was saying, I'm awareness. This is all a dream. And I was just like kind of doing that declaration and feeling that is the truth that I'm getting out of this dream. And I did that for like 3 miles. And I was just so focused, I was just like so concentrated. And, I was just so determined. And that's really all it takes is your level of determination and believing that you're powerful enough to actually realize yourself. Because you already are this, you see? But the only thing we're doing is all these old thoughts and beliefs that are saying you can't feel the way you want to right now. You can't live in your core frequency of bliss. You can't experience all frequencies. You aren't all perspectives. All of those beliefs that are saying that's not what you are. We're just getting rid of those. We're releasing all of those things. That's all that we're doing. So you can just feel empowered to know that you are what you are. You're the source of everything. You're the source of all of existence, you see? So all these beliefs that are saying you're not that, they have to come up. And they all feel so bad because they were never true. They were never true. But we're not going to get stuck on any of them. So we have to keep deciding what it is we want. We want to know the truth. We want to know the truth. We have to keep declaring that because the mind will keep coming up. Are you sure you want to know the truth? But what if the truth is going to feel really bad? What if your life is going to go to crap? What if all this bad stuff's going to happen? It's like all of those things, they're trying to pull you. They're trying to pull you from your highest potential. Just keep popping them, pop them open, pop them into white light. Just see if when it comes up like pop, nope, you don't exist. Pop, nope, I've restored you to your pure state of white light. So it's a good question, Anichin. Do we have to do this with pleasurable feelings that make us unattached. So this is why it's been, this is why it's self-realization has been pointed in this way. It's because because to be honest with you, this is why it is, because this planet has so many heavy charges on it. This planet has so many heavy charges on it. So then it's like, if you have a very blissful experience, like nobody knew actually how to embody these profound blissful states of being. They didn't know how to. Nobody had this information. Okay, so then they were teaching, don't get stuck on any of these things, because then you're going to be disappointed, and then your mind is going to have resistance to the present moment. The mind is going to be like, no, I just want to feel blissful and I can't. Why can't I feel blissful? But what I want to point you in is, I want to just get to the root of, what is this thought saying that you can't feel blissful? Why are you not feeling powerful enough to actually feel the truth of what you are, source energy? Let's get to the root of that, instead of just surrendering into we have to just live in constant pain on this planet. There's a lot of pain on this planet, and everybody's just been surrendering to it sucking. And I want us to get out of that altogether, because it's not like this on other planets. It's not. They're living, their whole collective's in a constant state of bliss. That's just what the whole collective is in. Everybody is living like that, because they know their power, and they know that they can hold that frequency, and they know they can focus on gratitude in any moment, and that switches the frequency of resistance. Any moment there's resistance, if you just instantly went into gratitude, it will switch the frequency. Even if there's pain, even if there's emotions, it'll probably soften your heart to actually make you cry and release the emotions on a physical level. When there's some heavy emotions or something, crying is so powerful, because actually it's like a physical release. The body wants a physical release. Or like yelling or running or doing some kind of movement, you have to move these energies. But if you go into gratitude and just say thank you, 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 when these energies are coming up, it can't, you're switching the frequency. You can't have gratitude and feel bad at the same time. It will start to shift it very quickly. So I want us to feel empowered on this planet, to know that we are the source, to create the frequency of presence we want to be in. This is part of self-realization, because your core frequency is a state of bliss. But we were so disempowered on this planet for so long, and so, the teachers didn't really know how to share in this way, because they were feeling at the deep state of profound bliss and peace, but they were seeing that nobody even believes in themselves enough on this planet to actually feel that they could stay in that. So they weren't teaching that. They were just teaching surrender to presence, surrender into the pain constantly, which you have to do when the pain is there. You have to keep surrendering into it. The thing that wants to resist is just the mind, and the mind's just feeling powerless, and it wants to resist. It doesn't see that this is the illusion. The mind wants to fight the experience that is here right now, instead of just realizing, oh, I'm powerful enough to actually switch the frequency myself. I don't need to fight it. Why would I fight what I've created? Why would I fight what's here right now? That's so illogical. It doesn't make any logical sense to fight what's in existence right here, right now. If you just feel it fully and go totally into it and die into it so deeply, go into gratitude so deeply, the frequency will start shifting. And then you start to see, as you do this more and more and more, then what you start to see is you actually get your power back, because you start to see, oh, I can just surrender instantly in the moment right now and just release this resistance. I can die into it right here, right now, release the resistance. And so it doesn't have to be a long, drawn out thing. It doesn't have to be. We can just go right into it. And that basically, when you surrender into it, you're healing it. You're integrating it. You're not fighting it. So you just become it, and you just allow it. And that what you are is allowing everything, you see? So there is no resistance in there. But we also have the power to embody the frequency of presence that we want on this planet. We do. And what I see is that there's been a lot of kind of spiritual ideas of just, there's a lot of ideas of like, I am just going to stay as awareness, and I'm just presence, and the getting the kind of concept of it. But the reason you're not living in a state of bliss, and that you're not feeling so blissful and light, is because you're not knowing your power. You're not feeling empowered to realize that you can actually abide in the frequency of presence that you want. And it's just conceptual, it's not embodied. And so there's so many fear-based energies in the body still, and there's just either they haven't been actually healed and integrated fully to actually turn the whole physical body into white light. The whole physical body will turn into white light. It will. And it's so profoundly blissful. So that's what we're moving into as a collective, of realizing our own innate power. And realizing that if you're not feeling blissful, if you're not feeling you're just this deep lightness, then you're missing something here. You're missing something. Even if you've been on the path for a long time, you're missing something. You've missed something. So we're embodying these frequencies of bliss. And every time you go into feeling the frequency of presence that you want, any and every charge that's within your mind-body system that is saying, no, I can't feel that way, will come up. And you have to feel the pain of those. You have to feel them right here, right now, and die into them. Because it's so painful to believe that you can't be powerful and feel what you want to feel in any moment. It's so painful to believe that. That's like a core lack belief right there. But the whole collective has been in these black beliefs so deeply that, it was kind of like the best way to approach it was because the collective couldn't believe in themselves. They were just, the whole planet doesn't believe in themselves to such a profound level that it was just easier to just tell everybody, just surrender to what is and just accept the pain and just die into the pain and so everybody was just kind of unless they really, really stayed very deeply, people have been kind of feeling that they're deepening in their realizations, but they're not really feeling any better. They're in these heavy mental containers and just feeling, I'm so unaffected by everything, I'm the awareness. It's like you're not actually living your natural state. You're not. And so when I'm sharing this stuff, I know what can arise. I see what can happen. So it's like when I'm sharing this, it's very painful when you don't actually feel that you have the power to actually be in the frequency you want. It's very painful. So you have to, but that's what we're trying to see. We're trying to see these beliefs and see these thoughts and swim through them and realize, oh, that's not what I am. That was just a belief and a thought from the person mind, had nothing to do with me. That's not the truth. And I just need to feel these energies in the physical body right here, right now, and die into them again and again, and not identify with any thought that would arise, that would say anything to try to continue to create that potential and create that timeline for me to be in suffering. I'm going to switch into gratitude, and no matter what the pain is, just say thank you, 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 again and again. If you just kept saying that, this frequency has to shift. It can't stay the same. And you find where it is you're feeling it in the physical body, because that starts healing it very quickly, just your awareness of it. Your awareness without any thoughts or stories or ideas about it. Just your awareness, pure awareness. Pure awareness and gratitude. It's such a profoundly healing combination. So it will release these basically energies from the physical body. It will release them. And then you'll feel lighter again once they release. You'll feel more presence, you'll feel more peace, more ease, you'll feel more bliss. You will. So we're just basically releasing all these old ideas from the body that we're saying we can't feel our natural state of being all the time. And it takes focus and concentration to do this, because the whole collective here on this planet, there's a lot of frequencies in this field on this planet that are so disempowering. That's what you're feeling. These thoughts that you're thinking are your thoughts. They're not. They're just a collective energy here. The mind just grabs a hold of it, the person mind, and says, oh, this is about me. And it tries to make it personal, but it's not. So we're not sticking to any of them. We're going to keep swimming through them and swimming and just focusing. And I know if you've ever done this, I went for a run today, and I was realizing, like, oh, this is what, we know how to do this. What we found, usually people, I think, that are like in sports or athletics or, it's like that's what it is actually. They are accessing like the power of the absolute. Basically, when you just focus your consciousness so strongly on what it is you want and you're not letting any thought come in of doubt. You're not. You see the vision of what you want. You see it. And, if for self-realization, the vision of what you want could just be a vision of absolute pure white light and bliss. Just that, holding that frequency, that's where you're going. You can just see that as the vision. That's what I desire. And then any thought and every thought that's arising that's saying, no, I can't be that, or I'm not feeling that, you are literally realigning your whole system to say, no, that is not truth. No, I refuse to believe that thought. No. And you keep seeing the vision of what you want. You have the power to do this. You do. You've always had the power. You just were believing you didn't. You have the power to focus your consciousness. You have the power to refuse to believe thoughts when they arise. You have the power. You have the power to refute them and say, no, that's not the truth. No, that's not the timeline I desire. That's not what I want. You have the power to say that and do that. So powerful when you do, because they will come up, these doubts. I don't know, maybe self-realization's not for me. Maybe I won't be able to do it. You just say, no, I don't care what those thoughts are saying. I don't care what they say. I don't care about them. I don't want to believe in them, and I'm not going to believe in them. I refuse to put any energy into them whatsoever. And you make your declaration. You have to feel your power. You do. You have to feel how powerful you are. You're so infinitely powerful. We've just been believing we're not. That's it. And we're moving fully through the empowered mind stage. And that's why we're going to basically get from the empathic mind stage all the way through the empowered mind stage to the unity mind stage. That's what we're doing. And so that's why I keep talking about being empowered, because that's what you have to see, is that you have the power to focus your consciousness. You do. You do. You have the power to make declarations. You have the power to choose the frequency of presence you want to be in. So every single thought and idea that's saying otherwise, you're going to feel it fully in the heart, right here, right now. It's so painful to believe that you don't have that power. It's so painful. And that's what's been keeping you from abiding and living and embodying your power on this planet. You see? Because every time you've had an idea of something you wanted to create or do, the only reason that it didn't get created or done is because then a thought was like, oh, I can't do that. I'm not going to be able to. And that frequency is a heavy frequency. And you aren't realizing, oh, I'm the source of all frequencies. I can just hold the frequency of presence that I want in any and every moment. And if you just held the frequency of presence that you wanted in any and every moment of bliss, your body just would naturally move into doing all the fun, exciting things that you've always wanted to do. There would be nothing stopping you. But what's happened is all these thoughts like, oh no, this thought came up. That must be true. I have to believe that thought. Oh, I'm not going to be good enough. So I have to believe that thought. Oh, I'm not going to be able to realize myself. So I have to believe that thought. And then we just kept giving our power away to these old thought forms and getting stuck to them instead of just swimming through and be like, nope, that's not what I am. No, I'm going to keep swimming. I'm going to keep swimming. I'm going to keep swimming. That's not where I'm going. That's not the timelines I want. Nope. We're swimming through a field of a lot of heavy frequencies on this planet, but we have the power to do this. We do. We do. so wonderful. I'm glad that you have that as a practice. You know, let's see what this question is. I think it's such a wonderful way to, to actually find these heavy frequencies in the body. And you can do this in a meditation practice. This can be part of your time that you sit and focus your consciousness, because you're not focusing on thoughts. You're just focusing on frequencies, and you're focusing on seeing where it is you're basically, where you're going, what you're doing. You're getting your whole body to turn into blissful white light, to be so profoundly healed and open and light and expansive. So, you could do that as just a meditation. It's so powerful. You could do that as a meditation. It's very powerful, very healing for your physical body, and it will bring up any frequencies that are in your mind-body system, that are any thoughts or beliefs or frequencies that are saying, no, I can't feel that all the time. It'll bring up sensations in your body that maybe you weren't aware of all of a sudden. It can bring up it'll start to show you where the resistances are. And it's okay that they're there. You just want to see them. You just need to see that there, and you just realize, I'm the awareness. The more awareness that's there, that's it. You're just being the awareness, and you're seeing everything. As soon as you see it, it starts to heal itself. It starts to release. It starts to change. It can't stay the same. You don't need thoughts or ideas or beliefs or stories about it whatsoever. You just need to see it. You need to see it, and then see that, oh, that was in one moment that was there, and I'm going to continue to keep feeling the frequency that I want. No matter what frequency, other thought or idea or frequency arises, I can release that and let it go like it never existed. I can pop that potential open and realize, no, that's not what I am. That's not what I'm focusing on. That doesn't exist. Only exists if I choose to make it exist by believing in it. And you just release them, and you just don't get stuck on any of them. And so you can just hold the frequency of presence you want to be in. You're practicing these states that you want to be in. You're practicing your power. Maybe you were feeling like, I'm not powerful enough, or I don't know what these frequencies are, but that's never true. Those were just thoughts. You're the source of all frequencies, you see? You are. You've always been. So if you feel like you don't know what that frequency that you want is, or what it feels like, you just imagine it. You imagine it. You imagine, and maybe from your imagination, if you're trying to imagine it, you could see somebody an image of somebody that you remember was at that frequency before, and you're like, oh yeah, I want to feel that. And you just feel that, kind of, you pull that into your heart, and you imagine how that would feel within your own mind-body system. And then you hold that feeling state. And you keep breathing it in more and more. You keep, you're basically breathing in these frequencies of presence that you want to hold in your body. This could be a profound meditation that would really get you to it would get you to the purity that you desire of the self. You could just sit in meditation and basically, just feel the frequency that you want and feel that blissful state, and then everything that's not aligning with that will come up. If you just sat in meditation and did that, it would come up very quickly. If you just could focus your consciousness, every single thing that is keeping you from that frequency that you want of pure blissful white light, which is just so clear and light, will come up to show you the old things that you were identified with. And if you didn't identify with them and you stayed focused on it, then they will one by one present themselves, and you can die into them one by one, again and again in the moment, and keep going back to the frequency of presence you want. And then your whole body will heal itself. Your whole mind-body system will release from all those old beliefs. That's all we're doing. We're just releasing all the beliefs that are saying that you're not what you are. So then you just stay. Your mind is quiet. You're just feeling the bliss that you are. You're just feeling that state. Because you don't have any beliefs or thoughts resisting what you are. You don't have any beliefs or thoughts resisting just being what you are. So you just be what you are. And what you are, you could just be forever. You see, what you actually are is just being forever in bliss. It's just eternally in this blissful state. So anything else that's coming up, it's just coming up from the collective energy here. That's it. It's just coming out from the collective energy. And you just, you take it in, the information. Okay, you needed to hear that information. You needed to feel that information. That's all that was needed. You just needed to see it. And then you let it go. It never existed. It has nothing to do with you. Let it go. Whatever was needed to be seen from that, you received it already. You were aware of it. It's already stored in the mind. The mind is so good at storing all the information, you see. That's what the mind is for. It just stores all the information. We don't need to keep thinking about the information. You're so powerful that whenever the information is needed, it will just present itself. The more that you are holding a high state of presence, it will just, in the moment, just, oh, here's the file that you need right now. Okay, wonderful. You don't need to keep thinking about things or worrying about things or any of that. You just stay as being what you are. And you just trust yourself and your profound intuition and instinct so much that you just can stay in that. So we're practicing that right now by just really getting out of all the thoughts altogether, staying as present, staying in the space, realizing that they are happening within us, not about us, and we're just swimming through them, swimming our consciousness to focus on the frequency that we want and to feel the way that we want, in presence, in the space, in the silence. I love you guys so much. It's so good to connect with you today. And yeah, I will be, so the link to the live stream is always the same link. Just so you know, it's always the same link. So you can just use that one to access it. And I'll let you guys know, it'll probably be around 1 o'clock Arizona time, Pacific Standard Time every day. That seems like a good time. Tomorrow I'll be doing another live stream, a webinar online on Facebook to talk about the Activated Leadership Training Program that starts. The registration is going to open tomorrow and it will start in a couple of weeks. So if you're interested in that, I'll be sharing more on that later. I love you all so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.